He's your Godzilla of the truth in America.
Run! It's Godzilla!
No gibberish or nonsense, just common sense. And now back to the John Fredericks Show.
All right, you're back on the John Fredericks Media Network. Thanks for being with us. We are live just outside the state capitol. If you want to come and see us, check us out, sign the Trump bus. We're at the parking lot of the Residence Inn Marriott between the Residence Inn and the courtyard that is on New York Street. I guess was this northwest, right?
West.
Northwest. Okay, something like that. West. New York West. I don't know what it is. Figure it out. Of course, Gary Byrne got lost getting here. We're like, Gary, you can see us out your window. You went to the wrong hotel. Don't trust the apps. Trust us. Anyway, it's good to have you with us. Joining us now for a couple of minutes. We got wires all over the place. We've got State Senator Liz Brown from Indiana 15. Give us quick, Liz, the geography of that.
Wholly within Allen County, Northeast Indiana. City of Fort Wayne is the largest city.
City of Fort Wayne, home of the one-time Fort Wayne NBA Pistons.
Correct. Now the Detroit Pistons. They're lucky.
Back in the day. And I remember the last time I went to Fort Wayne, I stayed in a hotel where they all the visiting players played. And they were telling me the last game, the last year of the Fort Wayne Pistons, that was the scene of the NBA All-Star game. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I remember this stuff. Many years ago, worthless information, except if you're Liz, and that's the area that you represent. Also with us, Andrew Ireland, comes highly recommended by Governor Mike Braun. I said, who's the one rep I need to get on? He's like, young fella, Andy Ireland, get him on. My staff will give you his number, and here we are. So thank you, Andy, for being with us.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Rep District 90, what area is that?
So it's the southeasternmost corner of Indianapolis, the city you're sitting in right now.
They have Republicans in Indianapolis?
Yeah, believe it or not, the south side is still bright red. The rest of the city, not so much maybe. But yeah, the south side's a great place.
Are the Colts going to win another game?
Absolutely.
Who's going to win Saturday night?
Hoosiers, all the way, 100%.
I got them plus 4.5. Let's go. Okay. You're in the House. You got to vote today. You got a caucus meeting. Walk us through the logistics of your conference today. The vote, when is it going to happen? What do you see? Andrew Ireland.
So 10 o'clock, we're headed to the floor. We are on the final passage of the 9-0 map here in Indiana. As I understand it, I think we have the votes. You need 50 to get it. We've got 70 Republicans in the House. I'm pretty confident we're going to get well north of 50 today. And then we're going to send that bill over to our colleagues in the Senate. And hopefully we're going to see that bill pass on the other side and get this done so we can have 2 more Republicans in Washington fighting for the America First agenda.
Andy, how many votes do you think you're going to get out of the House?
My guess is that we're well north of 50. I couldn't tell you if we get all 70, but my guess is we're getting close to 70.
So 66, 67.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
What do you think that a big vote out of the House is going to help influence the 5 votes we need in the Senate?
I sure hope so. I think that we've all looked at this as at the end of the day, you can either be America first or America last. You can either side with the Democrats like Andre Carson, the congressman here in Indianapolis, who is an honorary member of the squad, or you can send 2 more America first fighters out to Washington to fight for us. That seems like a really easy decision for me. I hope my Senate colleagues are waking up to that as well.
Liz Brown, let's get you involved. Member of the State Senate, Indiana, 15th District, Fort Wayne. What's the feeling now? I mean, and last time you guys were in session, this thing got rejected. Everybody thought it was dead. And then your governor said, no, let's just do a special session, revamp this thing back up. What do you see?
I think, along with Rep. Ireland, I think there's momentum. I think my colleagues are understanding the stark choice that we have right now. It's not a matter of just Indiana changing its maps, which we needed to do. We've been complacent too long. But it's also looking at the state of the country, and it is a stark contrast, right? We do not need the Socialist Democrats taking over, and that's our option right now. So I think my colleagues have been Hoosier nice and have been a little slow to sort of look at the big picture. But I think now that they're understanding, because we usually sort of focus on the state of Indiana and what we need to do here internally, and I think they're going to come along and vote this through.
Are there 5 people that you guys are focused on?
we're focused on everybody.
Yeah, but you're not going to get. I mean,
no, you're not going to get all 40.
what I mean, but you got 5 you need, assuming Micah, your lieutenant governor, could break the final vote. I mean, wouldn't you not want to be like, if this thing only got, what was it, 24 votes? I mean, would you really want to be one of the 16 that voted no?
No, and I don't think we want to be honest, count on our lieutenant governor breaking the tie, which obviously he could do, because you have to have 25-25 to break the tie. So it can't be 25-15, so if the Democrats decide to walk out and don't vote, then his vote isn't going to be helpful. So we need 26.
See, I didn't know that. That's why we had you
Right.
on.
It has to be a tie.
So nobody told me that. See, that's why you have Liz Brown on.
That's right.
Right?
That's
And
right.
here we are, like 2 days here. Nobody told me that except Liz. So basically, the bottom line of this thing is, if you don't get 26, Mike, it doesn't matter,
Right.
because the Democrats can just go home.
If we have 25, then it fails to pass for lack of a constitutional majority. And so in theory, you have, and I forget the rules, 2 days, maybe you have to sit out, so to speak, and you can bring it back. But unfortunately, we're up against the deadline. So we need to get this done
And
next
your
week
deadline
in
is
real
Friday
time.
afternoon, and then the special session ends.
Correct.
Then you would have to reconvene it.
Yes.
Can he even do that?
I think the governor can call as many special sessions as he wants, but I don't
I
really
think he's
think
pretty-
that's something we want to do.
No, you don't want to do that. So basically, let's just game this out, right, Andy? So you guys are going to pass it. So it goes to the Senate. It's Friday. They've stalled, done all the amendments, readings, blah, 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 all the parliamentarian sausage making stuff. So then the Democrats figure out you guys only got 25 votes. They figure that out. So then they just go home, right? Now, if they go home, then it doesn't pass. So you need 26 votes. Because even the idea that, well, they'll stay there and vote because the only way they stay there and vote is if, well, there'd be no reason at all for them to vote. Now that I'm thinking about it, why would they even vote? There'd be no reason.
Right.
I'll just jump in and say, I mean, that's actually what we're seeing in the House right now. So we have a quorum just among our caucus itself. But the Democrats are
What
doing
is your
right now.
quorum?
So you need to have 67. It's 2/3 of the House of the 100 votes. We've got 70 people. But if anybody's out in the hallway or missing or whatever, when quorum, when we go to take, attendance at the beginning of session, the Democrats will all sit on the hallway and they're going to wait and see if we get to 67. And so they're waiting because if we don't have 67, they're not going to help us out. They're just going to stay in the hallway and they're going to say, well, gonna wipe my hands of this one's dead. And so same thing I think as Senator Brown is going to is Democrats may just sit out in the Senate and just wait. And again, if you don't get to 26, they're not going to help you out by getting you to 25.
Wait a minute, you just said a minute ago you were north of 50. Now you're telling me you need 67.
Well,
just to be in the building, just to start taking. So once the vote is up for you only have to have 51, right? But to actually go and have a vote, to have a quorum present in the first place to take a vote, you got to have 67.
All right, let's hold this thought till we get back. A lot of intrigue now that I didn't know. This is why I got the 2 key people on. New information. So anxiety is starting to raise. We'll be right back on the Trump bus outside the state capitol. I got the 2 heavy hitters telling me we could be screwed. We'll be right back. Welcome back here on the John Fredericks Media Network and the John Fredericks Radio apps. Don't forget, follow me all on social media at JF Radio Show, at JF Radio Show. I am your Godzilla of the Truth in America, coming live from the state capitol of the Indiana General Assembly in Indianapolis, the new sports center of the galaxy. We got Big Ten championship coming up right over there, Lucas Oil Field, Indiana versus Ohio State, both undefeated. Number 1 against number 2. I'm taking the 5. It just went up to 5. I grabbed it. I'm taking the 5 in the Hoosiers. Whatever, right? They're at home, and we don't know how good they are. And I'm sick of Ohio State anyway. I'm sick of Ryan Day. I'm sick of the whole bunch of them. So I'm going with Signetti. And I'm also going to root against Louisiana State University for the rest of my life because Lane Kiffin screwed Ole Miss. Not good. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're going to talk about all that tomorrow on Godzilla Wins, 9 to 11 a.m. right here maybe we'll park this thing right in front of Lucas Oil Stadium and do our show from there. That's our sports show. This is our political show and news, talk, and analysis, and all that good stuff. So we're right outside the state capitol. Intrigue has hit us. We've got two movers and shakers here. We've got the Bulldog. That's her nickname from Governor Mike Braun, although she's much more attractive than your average bulldog. And that is State Senator Liz Brown, District 15 from Indiana. That's the Fort Wayne area, home of the former Fort Wayne Pistons back in the 50s when they wore those little tiny shorts. Remember those, right? Back in the day, there was no three-pointer or anything, right? Back in the days of like Bob Cousy and stuff. Also with us is Andy Ireland, representing District 90, Southern Indianapolis. So he's like a hometown guy. But lots of intrigue as we try to get this redistricting passed. So we just learned before we went on the break, they taught me something after a day and a half we didn't know, which was, Andy, walk us through this 67 quorum thing that's going on in the House that could foil our effort today.
Yeah. So in the House, just to be seated to take votes or anything else, you have to have a quorum. There are 100 members of the House, but you have to have 2/3 of the members present to take a vote. So that means you have to have 67. Now, there are 70 Republicans, which means that if we all show up, no problem. We don't need the Democrats. We can act like they never existed. The problem is somebody's sick, somebody has a surgery, somebody's got an appointment, their kid has some issue. All of a sudden, we lose a couple of people and we don't have a quorum, right? So the Democrats, smart as they are, they go and sit out in the hallway and they say, we're going to wait and see if you get to 67. And if you don't, we're not helping you out. We won't have a quorum. And we'll just kill this bill that way.
And go home. So
it's really important that all Republicans show up to vote because we got to make sure we have 67 because I'm confident we've got the votes to do it. We got to be there to do it.
Who's your speaker?
Todd Houston.
Is he good?
He's great.
Okay, so Todd and his staff is going to know who's there. If somebody's caught in traffic, somebody's car broke down, somebody got sick, something happened to somebody's kid, whatever, they're going to know how many people are there. At what time are you guys going to convene?
10 o'clock today.
That's like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to convene at 10. They're going to know how many people are there.
That's right.
And so if somebody's on the way, lost, caught in traffic, car broke down, can they hold it open?
You can hold it open if you have to. Really hope that everybody's there. We're kind of meeting at 9:30 anyway, so to give us a chance to get everybody in the same room and make sure we got our 67 plus that we need. I'm pretty confident we'll get there.
Will you be able to text me at 10?
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Send me a text. And I'll break into who's that. Patrick Leahy. I'm actually on the show at 10:15. Break in. Just text me.
Sounds good.
And then tell me we have a quorum or we don't, or here's what's happening, so I can do it live. So you guys need 67. So the problem is, but what if you have a couple Republicans that don't want this to pass and say, I'm just not going to show up?
Yeah, the Democrats certainly have pushed for that. They tried to target our members, some of those that maybe are in closer swing districts or whatever. I will say at the end of the day, whether you support this, whether you're going to vote yes or no, I think we all agree it's really important to show up to work and actually go and vote and let people decide then from there in your primaries and your general elections of whether or not you made the right decision. Happy to say I think all of our Republicans have been showing up. They've not been able to pick any one of them off. So whether they're a yes or they're a no, they're going to be in their seats today to take a vote.
67, and then once you get to 67, you don't really care what the Democrats do. They can go home and have a good weekend. Who cares? So they'll sit and wait in the hallway until they find out if they're 67 or not. I mean, that's kind of diabolical.
It is. It really says that the importance of having a supermajority in the first place, because if you just had 3 less members, this thing would be dead because the Democrats would just stay home. They'd run off to Illinois, and they've done it before. The problem was back when they did it, they had more than 30 members. They're a super minority now for a reason. We got to keep it that way.
So when they went to Illinois and they did the walkout, you were saying off air that cost them 13 seats because Indiana's got pissed off.
That's right. Yeah. Hoosiers want their lawmakers to show up for work. What are we paying you for if you're not going to show up, to do your job? And that's all we're asking people to do is at the end of the day, whether you're going to vote for this or not, Democrat, Republican, you should be in your seat. Taxpayers are paying you to be here. Get the job done.
So it's not Indiana nice. It's Indiana accountability, work ethic.
That's right.
That's what the Hoosiers are. Okay. Interesting. So we need to get to 67. I'm sure your speaker, Todd, has got has got a rolling number, right, with his staff on who's going to be there. I'm sure the governor has one too. Let's get to State Senator Liz Brown, Fort Wayne. So Liz, you've got the same intrigue going on in the Senate now that's going to happen on Monday.
Right.
Walk us through how that works.
So the same thing. We need a quorum of 34 to start business, which we'll have. I mean, people will show up on the Republican side, and I imagine the Democrats will show up as well. We're not concerned, again, about having a quorum either to start business. Even if you're going to be a no on the redistricting bill, people want to see that you're actually doing your job. But I mean, again, if some blizzard happens and people are driving in, it's the same sort
This
of
is
thing.
on Monday.
Yes, because we're on a tight timeline now because special session ends in a week. And so we're going to, just like the House will do today, we've got to roll this bill through in the next 5 business days, Monday through Friday.
But to do anything, you have to have a quorum on Monday.
Right.
And how many do you have to have there Monday?
34. So when we go in Monday afternoon, we all push our button, whether we're absent or, that we're there present. And then that signifies you have a quorum. And then
at 34.
Right. And then if
you've
the
got 40
Democrats want to
seats.
go home, yes, we have 40 Republican seats. And so we don't, again, like the House, we have a supermajority. We don't need the Democrats to show up to make a quorum. And I'm confident, regardless of where my fellow senators stand, that they'll be there Monday morning in their
So
seats.
you feel that even though there's right now 20 senators, I think we heard 10 of them are a hard no.
Mm-hmm.
5 of them could be moved, and then there's 5 that no one knows. But all 20 have said no in the past. But I've heard that 10 of them are like hard, like Bray and others. Yeah, he's got 10 are immobile, but they're not going to not show.
Right.
They're going to show up. So you're likely to have a quorum.
Yes, we will have a quorum.
And then let's take it from there. Liz Brown in the Senate. So when the vote comes, which we now understand is likely to be Friday, you need 26 votes, not 25. Walk us through that.
Right. So in the Senate, the lieutenant governor presides over the Senate. And so if there's a tie, 25 to 25, the lieutenant governor can break the tie. The problem is you have to have 50 votes. And so if a Republican senator is absent because whatever reason, they're excused, if the Democrats don't show up on Friday and vote, then it's not 25-25. So the lieutenant governor,
it's 25-0.
Yeah. So we need 26 on our side.
So you got to get 26
because
votes.
the Democrats are not going to help us break a tie.
Because the only way you get a tie that's break if it's 25-25.
Exactly.
And then your lieutenant governor Micah can break the tie.
Right. So
if it's 25-0, he's powerless.
Right. So as I said off air, if it's 25 votes only in the Senate, then the bill, which would be the redistricting bill, fails for a lack of constitutional majority, which is 26. You can, in regular session, bring that back in, I think it's 2 days, but our session's over Friday.
You don't have a regular session.
So we don't.
It ends.
We'd have to wait till January.
Mike Brown would have to call another one, which he's not going to do before Christmas.
Right. I mean, I don't think so. Can't speak for
Oh
the
my
governor.
God, what a mess.
So we got to get it done just like the House did.
And so you need 26 votes. So you don't need
Yes.
5 votes, you need 6.
Depending on who's counting. Yes.
It's not counting. It's
Well, I'm
26.
saying, as you said, some people have never publicly expressed where they are on this. So some of us think we have more than 20 votes right now, but
What do you
hard to
think we
tell.
are now?
I think we're north of 20. I think we're south of 25, maybe. But some of my colleagues, as we've done on most bills, frankly, don't normally say where they're going to vote until
Is that
vote
the
comes to
Hoosier
floor.
the Hoosier way?
It's kind of the Hoosier way. So
Is that Indiana nice?
it
Trying
is
to
very
fi-
Indiana
Still
nice.
trying to figure out what that is.
Yes. Yes, I know. It's foreign to people on the East Coast.
When I first went to Virginia years ago, and I was in media there, the first thing they told me is, there's a Virginia way, right? This was back. There's a Virginia way. You came from wherever you came from. It's not like this here. Everybody's a gentleman. We work things out. There's a Virginia way. Now it's run by communists.
Yeah.
The Virginia way is elected guy that just won attorney general wanted to assassinate the speaker, his wife, and his kids. That's the new Virginia way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just there is no nice when you're dealing with communists that want to blow your head off.
Yeah.
I mean, these people, they play to win, and I don't know what we do. Like this whole thing in Indiana, it's like, it's not really right. We already had it's like, no, they're stealing seats. You got 6 states in New England, Liz and Andy, that if you added up the Republican votes, it's about 45% in any election.
Right.
You just add them up. You know how many Republican congressional seats there are? 0.
Right.
0. Right. And what Newsom said in California when they stole those 5 seats there, he said, if I knew this thing was going to win by 30 points, I'd have taken them all. Like, I'd have taken every single one of them. Instead of making it 48-5, 48-4, I'd have made it 52-0. This is how they think. We don't think in those terms.
Right.
But we have to change.
It's amazing. 52 California seats. And out of that, 7% are Republicans. Yeah.
It's hard to believe.
They're beating us.
Yeah, because they're just tougher.
Right.
Now, the good news is, okay, you need 26 votes, Liz. You need 26 votes. Now, if you don't get there, or you don't have a quorum or whatever, you don't get there, this thing's dead. The reality of this is, you hate to say this on the air, but there's going to be hell to pay. You guys, your colleagues realize that, right? I mean,
I hope so.
The president's involved in this. I can just tell you that. His political team is involved in this. La Savita is involved in this. I mean, do you really want to be one of these Republicans that La Savita comes in here and spends $15 million meeting you in a primary and you can't possibly win? Like, why would you put yourself through that when your vote is going to save America? Like, why would you do that?
I think we both, in our conversations with the White House, have come to realize that for at least since Indiana has voted for President Trump 3 times, we kind of had most favored state status, and a lot of good things have been happening in Indiana. And I am passionately concerned that that's not going to continue. And I think that's a legitimate concern. I mean, there's only so many road funding projects and USDA hubs and
they'll
defense dollar contracts.
They'll cut you off like
that's a concern too.
They'll just shake you up. They'll cut you off.
And not to mention what will happen in DC if we lose the majority in the House, right? I mean, it's just going to be socialist policies all day long.
Impeach the president on the 3rd day.
Nothing gets done.
Nothing gets done.
Compromising with socialists. Yes. I mean, it's going to be hell to pay. So
you got that right. All right, Liz Brown with us, and Andy Ireland. A lot of intrigue now, things we didn't know. That's why I get the heavy hitters in. We're going to open this up for your calls. Liz and Andy want to hear from you. 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. Both houses need a quorum today. It's going to start in the House of Representatives. By the way, there's a rally today. Turning Point Action is going to be here. We're going to be involved in that. And I've got media hits all day, but now I've got new information that have been in part. That's why you come here. So you can't do this and stay in DC. You guys can come on video, but until you're here and you feel it, you can't get the feel. That's why we got to go out to where everybody is. So I thank you guys for taking time to meet with me. And phone lines are open to talk to Tyler, 888-480-JOHN, 888-480-5646. And Andy's got to leave at 9:30 because he's got to get to his conference so we can check in and be one of the 67. Otherwise, your speaker's going to be on your butt. But he's going to call me at 10, text me, and tell me what's going on. So he's my insider mole inside the Republican House of Delegates 70-30 conference. Now, Liz, so you say north of 20. That 22, 23? It's not 20. It's not 25. Let's say 22.
I think so.
22.
So.
I don't want to pin you down, but Liz says 22, the Bulldog. That means we need another 4. How likely is that?
Well, the conversation we just had about the USDA hub, things like that, how important that is to the state of Indiana, but also my colleagues, I think I could speak for many of us, have not looked at the big picture. We don't realize our responsibility in these maps and what it does to the national conversation. And because we usually just look at our own state. And I think that's been a slow walk on my side, making them understand and appreciate that if we don't do this, we're going to irreparably damage the country. I hate to say that. So we've still got time.
And are you making that argument to your wavering colleagues now?
100%. More phone calls and texts than I've had on probably anything else.
Save America. So that's why, Gary Byrne said, because I just put this together when I got him on this morning. I said, are you in southern Indiana? When are you coming up? And he said, no, I'm already here, because in case there was a snowstorm, I wanted to be sure I made it Monday. So he came last night. So obviously he's taking this seriously. And I don't think it was that big of a deal. I'm like, so you get here Friday or Thursday, Tuesday. It's like, no, he's got to be there Monday for the quorum.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. I think everybody on my side, regardless of where they are, understand this is very important, and they're going to show up on Monday. That I'm not concerned about. It's just making sure we have the votes.
What has been the argument? The 20 Republican state senators that have not been favorable to this, 20 out of the 40. What is their argument against it?
I don't want to speak for them, but I think just generally, I think, well, why do we need to do this? Can't we win these seats on our own? Well, we don't. It's been 7-2 for a while, and I thought they were pretty good maps the first time around, and my argument is maybe that's the problem. They were too good. Whenever we're getting pats on the back from the Democrats,
that's not a good sign.
We should think twice.
When
they're also a knife in their hand when they're patting us on the back.
When the communists are buying you coffee and patting you on the back, that's
right.
when you got to look over your shoulder.
Right. So
nice map, Liz. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Appreciate
you're so nice.
Bipartisan support.
Indiana, nice, Liz. Right?
Yes.
The bulldog. So now, have you seen the maps?
Yes.
Have you seen them?
Yes.
You like them?
I do. Yeah. At the end of the day, the job is to get 9-0, right? And I think this map is very effective at doing that. I think it helps ensure that we're going to get 9 solid Republicans in Washington. And at the end of the day, that's what I want. That's what I'm going to vote for. So you're going to see my green light on the board today, voting for this one.
Andy Arlen with us. So is there a vulnerable Republican of the 7 in maybe a swingier more district that could be put at risk by this map?
I think that the first is probably still the most competitive district. That's northwestern Indiana out towards Chicago. But even that, I think, if you look at the Cook political rating, it's like a +5. So, a good, strong Republican candidate, I think with support from the state and, other Republicans here in Indiana is going to get the job done up there. And then the other, 8 of the 9 seats, again, are very solid Republican seats because we're a solid Republican state. And Indiana is a bright red state. You might as well have a bright red map, but I'm pretty confident we're going to get that.
What the 2 Democrats that are here, what is the makeup of their district?
So the one here in Indianapolis is certainly the least competitive, I think, of all of the seats in Indiana. It's like a +30 Democrat seat. I mean, it is hard left because it takes the bluest pockets of the bluest city and it puts it all into one district. And then you've got that northwestern district in Indiana. That's actually a pretty close seat. In recent cycles, I think it's only been a few points one way or another. So, that one's already kind of trending in our direction. I'm sure, down the road, Republicans are going to win that no matter what. But this Indianapolis seat, just the way it's drawn, really, it is almost impossible for a Republican to win. You could run Peyton Manning, who's a very popular man in Indiana, and I don't think he would win in that seat right now because it is drawn in such a way that it makes it impossible for Republicans to be competitive. All
right, let's get to the phone lines. We have Mr. Bud in Canton, Georgia, line 1 for the Hoosier Gang. Go ahead, Bud.
Good morning. Hey, can you hear me, John? Good?
Yep.
Okay. I don't understand the Republicans' strategy here, and I'm just going to give a perfect example. This idiot in Michigan, or Minnesota, this governor, he's trashing us Trump because we killed somebody on a boat, a drug boat. But yet, when are the Republicans what the Republicans should have came back to him and said is, well, gee, that's funny because y'all intentionally left the border open for 4 years. You left it open for boats. You lured illegals here intentionally. And in doing so, not only letting in all the drug dealers, rapists, murderers, drug traffickers, but in doing so, you caused not only illegals, but innocent Americans, to include women and children, to be kidnapped, trafficked, raped, gang raped, murdered, tortured. When is a Republican going to ask a Democrat to their face in Congress, on TV, on anywhere, and have them put on record why they left the border wide open? They trash us for killing a terrorist, but yet they've literally caused thousands and thousands of people to die, and not a peep from y'all. When are y'all going to wake up? None of you should lose your elections if y'all would bring that up, and I just don't understand it. Can you please explain that to me?
Well, I tell you what I'm going to do. We have two Republican representatives here, State Senator Liz Brown and Representative Andy Ireland. The thought just crossed my mind that one of these two, when these maps get done, could run for Congress and go to Washington, D.C. and be my neighbor. So let's start with Liz. Is one of these districts, could it get drawn into Fort Wayne? Could you possibly go to Congress?
No, but thanks for the invite. I'm very happy with my Congressman Marlon Stutzman.
Okay. So now what about Andy Ireland? You represent South Indiana. They're going to redraw this seat. Are you over 20? Are you over 25?
I'm over 25.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're
I'm
good to
30.
go.
We're good. No, I live in the 6th district still that covers, the southern part of Indianapolis currently, and it will still under this map. So the way the map sits,
All right,
something changes. You won't
who's
see
your
me in
rep?
Washington. Jefferson Shreve.
Oh, he's a good guy. Okay. So neither of you are going to go there, but we'll let Liz answer Bud's question. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I think that's why, but we need to have a Republican majority to continue in the House. I think we've seen that the Democrats have a total disregard for public safety and the security of our borders. And I guess the only thing I can say is we need to make that case to my fellow Republicans in the Senate that that's one of the things that's at risk if we don't continue to keep that majority.
Let me just add something here. It is amazing to me, Andre Carson, the congressman who represents Indianapolis, there were more than 200 people killed in his district in this city last year, more than 1,000 people shot or stabbed in this city. And it's amazing is he hasn't said a word about that. But when he's off on Twitter now this week, I think just 2 days ago, he was out complaining about Trump killing the narco terrorists that are bringing poison into our country. So that tells you anything about the priorities of these people and the people we'd be protecting if we don't pass this map. You're protecting this guy. Don't get it twisted. That is what you're doing. If you don't pass this map, you're protecting Andre Carson. That's what we're doing. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a choice between America first or America last. And if you keep Andre Carson, you're choosing America last.
Andy Ireland, I want to thank you for being with us today. You got to go vote.
That's right.
You got to be part of the quorum. Liz Brown's going to stick around with us. We got Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith is coming. We're live at the Capitol. We're going to go to a quick word from our sponsors and be right back. Stay with us on the John Fredericks Media Network. I am your Godzilla of the Truth in America, live in the sports capital of the galaxy, Indianapolis, Indiana. We'll be right back.